Well, welcome back to Shane's Main Shop. Today I am going to make a threshold piece. It goes between two rooms. One room has a wood floor or a composite, kind of like a laminate floor, and it goes into linoleum, but there's no trim piece between the two to protect them, because it kind of has to be, it's two different levels, a little bit thicker. The wood floor is a little bit thicker than the linoleum, of course, and we need a transition board to go between them. Now you can buy these and that's perfectly fine, but I'm going to go ahead and make one. Now the first thing I need to do is just cut this thing off to length and then decide how I'm going to cut the groove in and all that, what I'm going to do to make it step down to meet the linoleum. But this should be a relatively short video. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about up here. I just came up with a square so I can get a depth of the thickness difference. You can see what's happening. Dirt's getting caught underneath here and all that, so we got to get this cleaned up and put a transition between these two floors. Right now the person has a carpet down just to protect that edge, and we're going to fix that today. Alright, so I've just given a rough sketch on the end here after I made that measurement. So this will be the lower piece. Actually, this piece right here you see is going to be gone. This corner right here is what we're going to keep. So one side's thicker, you can see, because that'll sit down on the linoleum right here, and it'll bump up the thickness of that laminate floor, come over and then go up the rest of the way, and then I'll round off these corners here so that's more of a gradual slope, and I'll just draw that on there real quick so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So something like that, so it has more of a smooth profile on top so you don't stub your toe or anything. I don't want to go too thin so it's super sharp on the edges, but enough so it's rounded over. And again, you can buy pieces just like that at the store. All right, I didn't show it, but I did cut off the width that I needed, so it's a lot narrower now and didn't have that tapered edge. And then I just went and ripped it down thinner like this as well, because I don't need that thin piece, I need this piece here. And there's still my profile now. It's upside down, which is fine because I wanted to cut out a knot. So I just flipped it over and I'll redraw the shape I'm going to do on this end in the correct spot. But when I ripped it down, I wanted to get rid of this knot here and not have it part of this. So I flipped it over and did that. So this will be a piece we'll just throw back in the wood pile, and we'll keep working on this piece here. So what I'm doing now is setting the height. Remember, I set this tool up there on the floor, and I'm just setting the height to how far I want to cut into my board that I'm going to do here. And then I'll turn the board the other way on edge and cut that piece out. So basically what I'm going to do is cut this way now to cut up into this, and we'll tip it on the side and cut the piece out this way. And then it'll take a chunk of this out, so it'll be like a step. And then we'll worry about rounding over these edges, the edges here as well, so it's not such a sharp step. Might thin this down even more, I'm not sure. That's probably about a ½ inch. So I got the notch cut out like I was talking about. I will say I want it very thin, but this is probably a little thinner than I would have gone, but it's going to be nice and thin. It's made out of oak, so it's not like it's pine. It's not gonna break easy. It's gonna hold up. It's gonna be pretty durable. So all I gotta do now is just round over this top edge. Let me set it down here so I can point. Round over this edge here so it's not, you know, sharp coming into it from this room, and then round over this top edge up here, which will be very, very shallow of a step. And she has a walker, so her wheels need to be able to roll over this without any trouble. So I'm glad it's that thin. I probably wouldn't have made it that thin. But I did run it through the planer a couple times before I took this notch out. Because once you take the notch out, you really can't run it through the planer and get a good even surface. So yeah, I think it's going to work out great, and it will protect that seam. But now we'll take it over to the big long belt sander and sand these edges down so we can round them over. So hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. I'm slowly round this over and be working on this side as well. But I want to get that down as narrow as I can so there's not much of a kick up right there. So that should give you a better idea what I'm talking about. Now I'm getting it rounded over here on both sides, so it'll be a nice transition. Not too sharp for the walker to go over. I gotta go ahead and cut it down to length now, because I cut it long, and we'll go up and fit it in place and just see how it's gonna fit before we go and stain it. This is how this is gonna fit in here. All right, I think you saw we just kind of did a dry fit up there. I'm going to go ahead and stain this now, and I'm on the fence about drilling holes in this to fasten it, or use some liquid nails or some sort of adhesive to put it down. I'm not worried about if it's adhesive and we gotta tear it up someday. I'm really not worried about that. I'm more worried about putting nails in this and having it split or something like that. And if I put an adhesive or something down and seal right underneath here all the way the whole length of it, there's a lot less chance of dirt and debris getting caught underneath there. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I made that transition for the floor, which is right there, to go between the two. And I had an extra piece left over. So I made this transition for the cellar stairway because there's hardwood floor at the top of the stairs and there's no transition board between that and the top step. So I didn't really show how I made this, but same idea, except for I left this, you know, big nose on the front of it here. The floor is a hardwood floor, it's a little bit thicker. So that's gonna sit up on top of the hardwood floor like that. And then this will hang, be sitting on the top trim board, not trim board, but on top of the step there. I'll go put it in place and kind of see what I'm talking about. Hopefully I got my measurements correct. Now this board was not quite long enough, but it was a scrap piece and I can't see wasting it because it's only like a 1/2 inch shy. So we'll put it in place and see what it looks like. It still needs to be stained, yeah, let's go see what it looks like. So this is what I'm talking about here, this transition from this hardwood floor upstairs to the top step going to the basement. And you got this, I'm gonna be cutting this extra pad that goes underneath the wood floor out of the way and cleaning all the dirt up, of course. But this is gonna sit right in here like that. And then I'll get it past this trim here. Trying to do it with one hand, but essentially that's how it's gonna be. And you can see, actually I'm only about a 1/4 inch short, but that was the length of the board when I started. So I'm just gonna make it work. You're never gonna see that tucked underneath there. And I made this side go all the way to the end because this would be the side you would see. But yeah, so there we go. In like something like that. And that'll give us a nice transition from that wood floor to the top step. And that bull nose on the front here sits on this quite a bit. So it does have a slight overhang, but most of it's sitting on top of that. So that'll look pretty good. So I'm just gonna pull it back out, stain it, clean up everything that's down there, cut off the extra padding, and then we'll put this in place as well as the other one. So I hope you liked this video. I know I didn't show you how to make this one. I kind of showed the other one a little bit as I was going along, but pretty straightforward. You know, just take a lot of measurements. In fact, I'll show you my measurement sheet, and I think I've talked about this before. I don't get into the computer programming and all of those type of measurements, where a lot of people on YouTube are much better at that than I am. I just take some measurements, draw a rough sketch like this right here. I get all my measurements I need, and then that's what I use to make it. So hopefully you like this video. I'm gonna sand this up a little bit more, put stain on it like I did the other one, and then we'll be putting these in place. Well, thanks for swinging by Shane's Main Shop. Please like, subscribe, and comment. That's the best way you can help me out. If you want us to take it a step further, in the description there is a link you can donate to help out the channel, or there's stickers available if you want to purchase one of those as well. But the best thing you can do, watch the videos, share the videos, comment, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.